Ebisafo mo akwaba mo atrasem na Coastal Television no de getania 514. And ya woda bosuma yeme ne da otodo awotwe oya bosuma otodo enum. Wa fempi bebien onye edonu enum na adoba kwa dominante odonkona hoden the amahin. Enda and the patient center focus. Yenhye yene nsama and the pay ya de bro no yenhye ase. Dan o mape excellency John Dramani Mahama frenyi kweja otodo ibasa. We jenu tomodo na ndefua papa oha onyi edonu 120 days odeba abanmu no odin sam that to go na so far so good and so far so bad nti oda yekohwe no mu nsama otedam ebusia yanko omampai na soe na yankohwe nsama oda to go wo oye ndefua papa oha onyi edonu a oba abanmu yankohwe bi
2025 marks 120 days since I had the profound honor of being sworn in as the President of the Republic of Ghana for a new 4-year term. It is a day that I specifically noted on our calendar to come before you, the people of Ghana, to account for the critical first steps we promised to take in our initial months in office. Our campaign was anchored on the vision of building the Ghana we want together. And our manifesto, Resetting Ghana, laid out a bold yet pragmatic plan for national recovery and transformation. Central to this plan was a social contract for the first 120 days, a set of specific actionable promises designated to enable us hit the ground running and signal our unwavering commitment to change. I stand before you tonight to update you on how we have delivered on these promises. To the people of Ghana and the world observing our progress, let me state clearly, we made promises and we have kept them. Our first 120 days have been defined by decisive action, a commitment to transparency, and a relentless focus on laying the foundation for building the Ghana we want, a just, prosperous, and united Ghana. Let me now walk you through the progress we have made on the specific commitments outlined in our 120-day social contract. We promised to form a lean and efficient government. I promised to nominate the complete list of cabinet ministers for parliamentary approval within the first 14 days and to constitute the leanest and most efficient government under the Fourth Republic within the first 90 days. As promised, I announced the complete list of my cabinet ministers for parliamentary approval within the first 14 days of being sworn in. They were all successfully vetted and approved, and they have hit the ground running. Indeed, I have so far appointed only 56 ministers and deputies so far, the smallest number of ministers and deputies appointed by any president in the Fourth Republic. We've also nominated our metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives, and they are going through the various phases of confirmation to complete the formation of our governance team at the local level. Establishing a robust code of conduct. I have committed to establishing a robust code of conduct and standards for all government officials to instill integrity and accountability from day one. Building on my previous efforts, we have reworked and finalized a significantly improved version of the Code of Conduct for government appointees. The comprehensive document launched last Monday addresses new areas including a prohibition on purchasing state property directly or indirectly, regulations regarding hampers, and clear monetary limits for official gifts. I've left my appointees in no doubt that I'll bring down the hammer swiftly and strongly if they breach any of these provisions. We promise to hold a national economic dialogue within the first 90 days to understand the state of our economy and build consensus on the way forward. On March 3rd and 4th, 2025, the Government of Ghana convened the National Economic Dialogue at the Accra International Conference Center, bringing together partners including the private sector, civil society organizations, traditional authorities, and academia. The participants presented a comprehensive report with clear recommendations to restore macroeconomic stability and regain confidence in our economy. These included enhancing fiscal and monetary coordination, reviewing the foreign exchange regime, implementing major tax reforms, overhauling the public financial management system, reforming state-owned enterprises, strengthening expenditure controls, establishing a credible medium-term expenditure framework, promoting strict fiscal discipline on the part of government, and aggressively pursuing inclusive growth. The implementation of these recommendations has begun to yield results. The currency is becoming fairly stable, inflation is inching downwards, and we have reduced the excessive borrowing that had become the trademark of past governments. The report also provided valuable advice on promoting industrialized agriculture and aligning skills development with national priorities. We've taken this advice seriously, and implementation is underway, guiding our economic policy decisions. Following the recommendations of the National Economic Dialogue, we've amended the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921, to introduce a debt rule that aims to reduce the ratio of debt to GDP to 45% by the year 2034. We've also established an operational rule to post an annual primary surplus of at least 1.5% of GDP on a commitment basis. The amendment also allows for the establishment of an independent fiscal council to monitor the government's adherence to the fiscal rules. This reform was executed in April 2025 before the September 2025 deadline under the IMF-supported program. What is also new about this law is the sanctions associated with breaches of the fiscal rules, which extend beyond just the Minister for Finance to include all ministers of state and heads of covered entities whose actions or inactions contribute to the fiscal slippages. Government has commissioned the Auditor General and 2 international audit firms to audit payables and commitments to validate their legitimacy and values and provide recommendation for corrective measures. An amendment of the Public Procurement Act has also been passed, making the issuance of a commitment certificate by the Minister for Finance a prerequisite for all procurements funded by the central government. Scrapping draconian taxes to alleviate hardship and ease the high cost of doing business. I promise to scrap the e-levy, the COVID levy, the 10% levy on bet winnings, and the emissions levy within my first 90 days in office. These tax expenditure measures were central to our 2025 budget statement. On April 2nd, 2025, I signed several bills into law, including the Electronic Transfer Levy e-levy repeal bill 2025, the emissions levy repeal bill, and the betting tax. We have delivered on 3 of these 4 specific tax repeals as promised. The COVID levy has intricate linkages to the existing IMF program. As a value-added tax, we have agreed with our multilateral partners to include it in our overall VAT rationalization exercise that is scheduled for September this year. We've significantly exceeded our 120-day promises regarding overall tax reform by enacting other critical bills such as the Value-Added Tax Amendment Bill, the Income Tax Amendment Bill, the removal of VAT on motor vehicles, the Public Financial Management Bill, the Growth and Sustainability Levy Act, the Earmarked Funds Capping and Realignment Bill, the Gold Board Bill, the Energy Sector Levy Bill, and the Petroleum Revenue Amendment Bill. This swift legislative action underscores our commitment to providing relief and creating a more favorable economic environment. Reviewing taxes on industrial and agricultural imports. We committed to reviewing taxes and levies on vehicles and equipment imported for industrial and agricultural purposes within our first 90 days. My government has initiated the crucial review process. The results of this comprehensive review will guide policy decisions and be incorporated into the 2025 mid-year budget review and subsequently the 2026 budget, ensuring that we support these vital sectors effectively. Commencing the 24-hour economy policy. One of our signature policies for job creation and economic transformation is the 24-hour economy policy. We promise to commence drafting the needed legal amendments and prepare for its implementation within the first 120 days. The program is designed to drive structural transformation across our economy, built on pillars aimed at revamping key sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, and tourism. The program rollout has commenced in earnest. The 24-hour Secretariat is collaborating with the Development Bank of Ghana and the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund to operationalize financing pillars for this program. Cabinet has approved amendments to the Ghana Investment Promotion Center Act and the Labour Act to include specific clauses regarding 24-hour operations. These amendments aim to enhance social protection, create an enabling environment for the 24-hour economy policy, and promote conducive business and labor relations. Already several businesses are lining up to sign on to this policy. Some tangible actions have also been taken. The Ghana Investment Promotion Center has launched 24-hour premium services to eliminate processing delays for investors. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has launched a 24-hour passport service with the passport application headquarters operating 24/7. The DVLA used a 24-hour service to clear a long-standing 18 months backlog of licenses and will soon commission a new 24-hour service office at Adenta in Accra. The Youth Employment Agency is set to launch the Graduates in Corporate Support GRICS program, which will attach graduates to firms operating 24 hours a day. This program is targeting 20,000 graduates. The YEA is also partnering with security agencies, the fire, police, immigration services, to provide security for 24-hour firms and is working towards training and deploying 23,000 recruits for this purpose. Recognizing the need for robust security, the police service is establishing a 24-hour police unit to improve 9 patrols and utilize technology supported by nationwide sensitization. The Minister of Energy and Green Transition is engaging the PURC to set up smart metering with a time of use tariff, charging a lesser tariff during the off-peak hours, a direct incentive for enterprises on the 24-hour economy policy. The Minister of Finance and Presidential Advisor on the 24-hour economy policy is finalizing a list of incentives for businesses to sign up for the initiative. The Ghana Publishing Company Limited has also begun 24-hour printing operations. In fulfillment of the 120-day commitment, we are pursuing new avenues of job creation, expanding employment opportunities, particularly for young graduates, and empowering the private sector as a key driver of sustainable job creation. We promise to establish an accelerated Export Development Council to promote exports as a key strategy for economic transformation. I'm glad to report that on Monday, I inaugurated a 19-member Accelerated Export Development Advisory Committee, which I chair myself. This committee will monitor export activities and performance across all ministries, departments, and agencies, including the Ghana Export Promotion Authority. We will not accept any business-as-usual attitude. The committee's functions include reviewing performance reports, monitoring targets, refining trade policy, deliberating on international trade issues, and providing policy guidance for exports. Ghana's export sector faces challenges, including cumbersome documentation processes, requirements from under-resourced regulatory bodies, and inefficiencies at our ports. According to the International Trade Center, These inefficiencies cost Ghana $4.3 billion yearly in losses, export losses. Sectors such as fisheries face contamination issues, and vital segments including women and SMEs remain underrepresented in our export sector. Establishing the Accelerated Export Development Authority Committee is crucial as a central platform for coordinating reforms, driving execution, and unlocking Ghana's full export potential. Under this Accelerated Exports Advisory Committee, our bold strategy to grow non-traditional export earnings by several multiples over the current $3.5 billion exported annually by at least 2028. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area offers an unprecedented opportunity, and we're positioning Ghana as a regional manufacturing and export hub. This year, we aim to triple the number of companies certified under the African Continental Free Trade Area Rules of Origin. We intend to scale up our export readiness, training for youth and women, and expand into new markets while consolidating our existing partnerships. Ghana will become a hub for products, digital services, knowledge exports, and our creative industries. Convening a national consultative conference on education. I promise to convene a national consultative conference on education to build consensus on the necessary improvements to our education sector. I'm glad to report that this promise has been fulfilled. Over 2,000 proposals were received, including a survey on free senior high school with 20,000 respondents. The report on the consultations will be ready by the end of May 2025 and will be made public. The extensive consultation was crucial to building a genuine national consensus for sustainable reform in our education sector. The no academic fee policy for all first-year students in public tertiary institutions was a key promise to ease burden on families and expand access to higher education. My government has taken concrete steps to implement this. 452,940,012 Ghana cedis has been allocated for the payment of academic facility user fees for 156,294 first-year students in public tertiary institutions for the 2025 academic year. GETFund has also been instructed to pay the fees directly to the tertiary institutions, ensuring timely disbursement. The No Fee Stress application portal has been developed and is now live for first-year students to register and authenticate their eligibility for this government funding. Introducing social interventions, free tertiary for persons with disability, and Mahama Cares program. We're committed to introducing vital social interventions like the free tertiary education for persons with disability and the Ghana Medical Trust, otherwise a fund otherwise called Mahama Cares. For free tertiary education for persons with disabilities, budget allocation for beneficiary students has been captured in the 2025 budget statement. The Minister for Education has made relevant data available for GETFund so that it can prepare for the payments for this 2025-2026 academic year. The Ghana Medical Trust Fund is a bold national policy that provides direct financial support to Ghanaians who are suffering from chronic diseases that are not fully covered by our national health insurance scheme. It serves as a lifeline for chronic disease care. On April 29, 2025, I officially launched the fund at the University of Ghana Medical Center, where I pledged 6 months of my salary as my contribution to start. Vice President Nana Jane also pledged 4 months of her salary to the Mahama Cares Fund, and I have since directed that every government appointee of mine should contribute at least the equivalent of 1 month's salary to the fund. This includes CEOs and all other appointees. I encourage every Ghanaian to contribute as you are willing and able. The short code for the contributions across all mobile networks is *225#. *225#. Disbursement to support needy patients will begin once the governing board is put in place. The draft Ghana Medical Trust Fund bill is ready and will be presented to Cabinet at its next sitting for approval and forwarded to Parliament when it resumes from recess. We are united in this mission to touch lives and bring health, healing, and hope and joy to our people. To improve menstrual hygiene management and remove barriers to education, I promise to reintroduce the distribution of free sanitary pads to female students in primary and secondary schools. The 2025 budget statement allocated 292,400,000 Ghana cedis for this commitment, and I launched this initiative on the 24th of April 2025. Procurement is ongoing for over 6 million sanitary pads, with each student receiving 3 packets per term at the basic level and 4 packets per semester at the secondary level. Distribution will be done through the Ghana Education Service structure to all 261 districts, ensuring that no beneficiary is left out. The distribution will be accompanied by health education. A cornerstone of our commitment to good governance and accountability is tackling corruption and eliminating waste. I promise to initiate inquiries and forensic audits into several critical matters of public interest. This war against corruption continues unabated. The Minister for Health is reviewing the Auditor General's report on the COVID-19 expenditures. After the review, the appropriate actions will be taken. The Sputnik V scandal is under investigation. The Minister for Finance has launched an inquiry into the collapse of indigenous banks and financial institutions. And make no mistakes, facts will be unearthed, culprits will be punished, and lessons will be learned. The Minister for Energy and Green Transition has commenced investigations into the PDS scandal. Deloitte & Touche is conducting an independent audit of the National Cathedral project. I expect their report by the end of this month. A number of officials have been invited and questioned concerning the 13th African Games. On April 30th, 2025, the Attorney General filed 11 charges against a former National Signals Bureau Director General and others for various offenses. Charges will also be filed in the Accra SkyTrain and the National Service Ghost Name scandal. The Office of the Presidential Advisor on Corruption will continue to receive complaints and reports regarding graft for onward transmission to the Attorney General, building on the success of the oral mechanism, which received over 2,000 complaints in just a few weeks. As promised, my commitment to fighting corruption is not limited to recovering loot from past appointees. We will also ensure that our own appointees serve Ghanaians responsibly and are held to the highest standards of accountability. To reinforce public trust and ensure equitable access to state resources, I pledge to implement a government policy prohibiting political appointees from purchasing state assets. Reports of former officials acquiring public properties after regime changes have eroded public trust, particularly.
Ebusia ina ya Ghana Mampa His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for inkwejo today basa nenuma sama odutugwa anada abra oba benim ndefo par oha onye edonu nsama odutugwa ne bi na yenko nsamfufrum yenko oye asen fosu eho na mensin krachi payina ono waba oye asen fosu meche onobu Jonathan Benkrain wejenu tumudo na ode ngba sukulfo wobatena do ode akache adesha oho yina na nsama yɛne katsebaka ɔyɛ anan ɔbɔ nsɛm kyerɛmu de kyerɛ yɛn dɛ ɔpanyini wɔkwan ahodo pii na wɔdzi dwuma na ɔde aboa wɔ ngua a sukuufo bɛtena do nti ɛhwɛ a ɔde ngua nyinaa aka wɔn nwomasua no wɔn mpanyinfo a wɔwɔ ɔyɛ asen nansi no eyi nti wɔgyina do na ɔde ato gua akyerɛ akyerɛkyerɛfo a wobɔ hwɛ ma mmɔframma atena ngua no do dɛ obihia obi ye dzama wɔn dɛ wɔn nyinaa no wobɔbɔ ho ban ma ɔmka ban dɛ mmɔframma bɛsɛ ngua ɔtena mu ngua no nyinaa katsebaka na nsɛm a ofi ɔyɛ asen south abato mpɔsɔ de bɛkyɛ dɛ ngua no nyinaa yɛ ɔyɛ ɔha edisia 600 na ɔyɛ sukuu ahorow a wɔn nsa aka ɔyɛ dex no bi sukuu nkoko edono na wɔn nsa aka ɔyɛ dex no bi a ɔyɛ abankakye panyin a ɔwɔ asen south abato mpɔsɔ do ɔnɔbɔ jonathan benkran wɔgye ne tum do na ɔde akakyɛ adehye no ebusuanyɛn fi ɔno dɛm nsɛm do na yɛnkɔ ɔyɛ nsɛm foforom wɔn nsɛm foforom no yɛnyim pefee dɛ ndɛ sɛ ɛkɔ roman asɔr ne sew do wɔ ɔyɛ vatican city mekyɛ rome italy a ɛhɔlihol dzɛndzɛndzɛn anada na wɔhyɛ ase dɛ wɔrebɔ mpa wɔahwɛ dɛ onyankopɔn bɛyɛ adom na wɔanyanyia a obi gyina dɛ ɔyɛ sɔfopɔn panyin mekyerɛ pope wɔ ɔyɛ roman catholic asɔr no ma nti anada ɛkɔ vatican a nkɔfo etwa ahyia na wɔn nyinaa wɔrebɔ mpae wɔresi rosary dɛ yɛmɛ bɛyɛ adom na wɔn nsa bɛka ɔyɛ pope a ɔte dɛm na nhyehyɛ koro a ɔwɔ yi ɔdɛ asɔfo mpanyin mekyerɛ cardinal se nyinaa no ɔdɛ wɔyɛ wudzi nsew dɛ dza wɔkɛyɛ no hɔ obi a nyi wɔn ɔde mpo yɛ abɔ ano nti wɔde bible bɔtoɔ wɔde wɔn nsa ato do na obiara aka na ntɛm biara ɔwɔ do na wɔwie a wodzi nsuo no wie a na wɔn nyinaa wɔama wɔn kwan na wɔakɛhyɛ ɛda no kurom wɔkɛhyɛ na nkurom a na akyi wɔde mpaebɔ no ahyehyɛ do na mpaebɔ no sunsuan do ma ɔbɛba no ɔbɛwie wɔ ɔyɛ wusiw a ɔbupɛi efi ɔyɛ ɛda no a wɔhyɛ mu nom nti bɔhwɛ na nkɔfo gyina abɔ ana wɔn yi da kwan da wusiw obi fi ɔyɛ ɛda no so aba na wusiw no ɔwɔ ebien da ɔyɛ tuntum na ɔde yɛ fufu no kyerɛ wɔnyɛ pope na wɔnyɛ tuntum da na ɔkyerɛ wɔnyɛ pope nti yɛnkɔ na nkɔhwɛ nsɛm kakra ɔda ho.
One by one, the cardinals walked down the aisle before taking individual oaths to obey the rules of the conclave, which demand the utmost secrecy. If they ever break their silence, they risk excommunication.
Extra omnes.
Everyone out, and with that, the doors closed. The work of choosing a pope would truly begin. Then, when the world sees white, inside the Sistine Chapel, the Dean of Cardinals will ask the newly elected pope if he accepts the result. And if he does, he is from that moment the new pope and chooses the name he will then be called. Next, he walks to the nearby Room of Tears, so called because some newly elected popes have in the past cried there as they absorbed the enormity of the moment. He then dons his new robes, puts the papal ring on his finger, and is led down the Hall of Blessings to the central window of St. Peter's Basilica, where he is introduced to the masses with a simple Latin phrase, Habemus Papam, we have a pope.
Veni, Sancte Spiritus, et venite Genitus, lucis sue radium, venus solatium, o lux beatissima, et sana codes saucium, in te confidentius, sacrum
Ebusia nti anada aye woman asor numu mpanyinfo wokehia no mpabonya na chie no wensanka oye popa otedem nti ndaso worokọ akase danum abompa ahweda nyame obeyi dama hon wodindama kesi oye bosom kura obohwe na bosom kuntem na sa wonsanka na oche no wokọ bibi fofodo nti ebusia damana eyida kwanda woman aso no nsabaka monopopa otedam yanda yenwomble na yemfa de obaka te na pod no so yemfa nte omdo yenkwamre sisia Ebusiam samu akwaba mu atrase me Coastal Television odegetania 514 yamina domara kwa odon kwada ho dia chenzi yanko de ubaka taya abakansa anepe na yantwetwe nemu nkomo anepe merkase de ubaka ta ho ni na abegodo fefe de mara nti yeko oye daily graphic de ubaka tenuma gano mampe nimfayin odoho na amampe orkasa afa ne in the four popal oye oha edunu meche 120 days no da amampe achirimi de 72% na oye anoba obuani na no wejido 72% de na no bari na wejido we na asrafo ewie we yi ne mpayinfa ubohwe mensi ni na we yi ndama under the nakwerum odatuti ye yamina domara we do no budget chede ndama kokore biembia on the day no 120 days no odnam ndama ina odatutu nakwerum ne mfanyin na order daily graphic no mon yako daily guide do boka tenuma odi oye asante himba ne mfia odi na orbompe odirma oye otumfo osetutu abebio ne mfanyin no order soro wono na otumfo wedi 75 years na abiri wato ho na abiri wana himba oto na himba na orbompai odum otumfo na ne nwura mpa pepe owonyinchal papa na obi opai bi ne fayin da soro wo ono sere mahama we fail 120 days we fail the promises oye IERPP no pay no can also President Mahama no 120 days na promises all men they we fail 120 days when 2 wan na nti no fayin odo o we du bo ahin say bakaya national security ukodefie ukotode no mun sempi na du bo ahin no se de national security ukonifie won na me bia wodin sakakan na on some fatanti we suppose won nye do bakaten bi kana ebo hu da oro kwado ho na oye aketechi ase na aketechi so residents additional what one so na we protest oye mine na oro kwado ho a wa bande sa banaje sa bananje no ahwan so wase edwuma na mining company no what ana na wa fon kwafo mo edwuma ho nti no so no feyin ododobo ka te guide nenyu ebusaye ko the daybreak de baka te ya owe dubu ayi no feyin do ho na afi da no wasre 49 million na MPs oye oppositioner no onye Mahama Aid no wokwa na wo hwehwe fi oye opeyin wo na wo hwehwe fi no another wa fight ebusia nyedo baka te ni bia ebohu Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia na no so oye wakọ oye ntim fodwo MP ni fie na oyen ekidi nkomo nti no ho nsam na de oboka tai oye daybreak odi aboto enyim ho no the supreme de oye kwabna edubu ahen na onye national security ta woko fie won da mansem bi wo ha edubu ahen wababi na se mi se na national security woko edubu ahen ni fie won kaka dat okaya dat okaja ababi wo ho ebusia ne mu nsam no nya bi kana damara na jonjinapo na wa set record state abasema aba ECG wono containers no nsam jonjinapo wa set record state nti no so nya bi kana the supreme obobo papa the business analyst ena odi Ghana man pay ni fe na to first 120 days no so other to me there also burden adjust postpones Ghana economy ena no so odi aboton inflation wa drop into the no feyin or the aboto was inflation na drop about 21.2% in April num inflation na drop na se wa drop wo so kotokum ana wa mono mudo wo kotokum wo ebusun enye bia enye bi hwa obokoro papa showbiz the oye Kimpaluta Stone Boy ena onye senior etipa ne feyin ode aboto ne feyin bi no de bugu no mo watch ne two kings battle na win oye one gold na asamaye de artist of the year hona na orokwaman artist of the year hona na orokwaman Kimpaluta another Stone Boy ona necessarily wa be manso na so do mimi ne ya ntaneda na we break oye voting the same vote ya ebusu ayo ho nto ochinefi mimi nda na oye dam Telesale music awards no ochinefi mimi ndai na olobado Ghana ha na ya hwe Kimpaluta obaji and Stone Boy no also maintain ne artist of the year no inye bi kana nzama bakodo the daily searchlight the bokate no or the infeyin akwe ebien former GES director general no wa crash with oye Haruna Idrisu abasema aba nsemipi no we prepare nti inye do bokate ni bi kana former director general no onye we Haruna Idrisu no we hie ma o kire adagiri nyi apodokra nsemipi na education sector no mu nsama de ebusuaye ya ka adabasan no education sector no mu nsama no pi na daily post no or the Ghana man paying John Dramani Mahama na nkutini mfenyin na other ba no se my 120 days no the resetting Ghana agenda na odem yakwa the Ghanaian Times ono so osi beyond 120 days you focus on bringing relief to Ghanaians instead no so on mfeyina or the aboto na yakwa oye Daily Times no so or the NPP life exposed no mu nsam na or the aboto oye de bokatanim abonye DC na was why hot pa abasama ba why hot onye manke okupra kun a Japan Kennedy onye won nsam ma orokodo no sesai pose abonye why hot pa no eden no why hot ebusuanye bi kan the new trust the bokata no or the mfanyi bi aba mampon traditional Mampong traditional area ɔhyɛ menhyiase Mampong traditional area no waayɛ kɔkɔɔ abasema ba ɔmahena ɔwɔ ɔyɛ Mamponen nana kwekura nana okwekura nana nka atasefo ho bio nti numu nsam na the new trust ɔde abotugwa no edusua the Ghanaian the observer ɔyɛ the obesia badase the obesia na no mo ɔda ba no mfeyi no ɔda ba no bia guta funa wo bi sɛ dɛ nti swafo hwes kasam no nhyehyɛ bɛn na ɔre ya mohoma wetum wayɛ jubilation mandama akodo nti no so nyabi kana current issue the worker tenede ɔde ɔre honorable Haruna Jusu swafo ɔhwɛ ɔyɛ nwumasua do ɔse 39,000 graduate teachers no why improve without necessary financial clearance. Hey, I reduce you. That financial clearance no mba ya we improve teachers mo yeye. Into 39,000 graduate teachers now we improve no. Said we mfaso nyi ho. Into dem na we 100 issue or kind of current issue the boka tenum. The daily banner so or the biaba the hawk no so waba but ebu sembe na ebe. Into me minjira do na mfa se na mfa ma we inye bre na daje ehwe yizi aseda so onkomo. Prof muni abema awo Obrapa FM abra prof anepe aseda so nkonkomo da ehwen wo da geta no do ye do ase papa madam Angela waso wo oye Edna Branyi buma sister Celestina takwa de kodwo krom won nyina no ye da homase Edna Bantuma won o won yaso ye da homase Facebook de pass Boniface waso Facebook aseda kase nkomo ma mi kaso a wo US aseda kase nkomo ye da won nyina ase de wahwehen na wanye Coastal Television aye number 1 won bebi a wo bia no technical director oye Soviet professor Emmanuel Kwame Bafeje aseda sonko onkomo aseda bi onkomo Michael eno oye Francis we na so yeda homase from Kitikeku asabe ba kofi esuma na pemede momo wacho